Hello everybody, and welcome to my tutorial where I'm going to show you how to write to a file using the Java I/O library. So what I have here is I have an empty Java project, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Java class, and I'm going to call it, and I'm going to call the Java class write to file. And I'm going to click enter. The class is going to get created. And we're going to create one public static void main inside here, an entry point in the application. A shortcut in IntelliJ to do that is PSVM. So that's, and we click tab and we can get a public static void main created automatically for us. So now what do we have to do? So we first need to have some sort of file that we want to write to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this package right here, on the Java I/O package that I have right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an empty file, and I'm going to call it text file.txt. Okay, and it's going to be empty. I'm going to leave it empty like that. So what I'm going to do now I'm going to try to open that file using the file class. So there's a file class in Java, and I'm going to use that class. With Alt Enter, I'm going to import it. And I'm going to say file is going to be new file. I'm going to create a new instance of the file class. And inside here, I'm going to specify the absolute path to this file. And in order to get the absolute path to this file, an easy and convenient way in IntelliJ is if you right click the file here, you can say copy path, and you can take the absolute path right here. And I'm going to put it in the constructor as a string. Now, what's going to happen here is this file is going to get stored into this object here, so into this file object right here in Java. Now, in order to write to a file, we can use a class that's conveniently used for writing to output streams, and that class is going to be FileWriter. So I'm going to use the FileWriter class, and I'm going to create an instance of this class in just a second. So I'm going to say new FileWriter, and this class can take the file as a constructor parameter, and it can take the output stream to the file, and it can write to the file just like that. Now this construction can actually throw an exception, so for these demonstration purposes we are going to add it to the method signature. Okay, so let's continue. Now this is how we're going to be able to write to the file using this class. But what I want to do is I want my application here to be able, so the user to be able to input from the keyboard, and then that input to be stored in the file. That's what I want to happen here in this little program that we're doing. So I'm going to be using a buffered reader to read the user's input. So a buffered reader, and I'm going to say it's going to be a new buffered reader. And so let's actually conveniently name these variables a little more conveniently. So I'm going to call this one is going to be FileWriter, and this one is going to be user input. So that's a little more, a little better naming there on the variables. And then this is going to be a new buffered reader out of a new input stream reader, and the input stream reader source is going to be the system.in or the standard input. So the system.in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable out of type string. I'm going to call it line, and I'm going to say it's going to be null, and you're going to see why I'm going to need this variable in just a second. Now I'm going to create a while loop, and I'm going to say while true. So while true, so it's not going to have a condition in the while there, but we're going to have an exit condition just in the beginning right now. So firstly, what we're going to do is in each turn of the while, we're going to be reading from the standard input. So I'm going to say line is going to be equal the user input dot read line. So this read line can throw an exception. We're going to add it to the method signature for this demonstration purposes. Now we're going to say if line dot equals. So if line dot equals, and let's say if line dot just a second, if line dot equals, and let's say exit, for example, let's say that exit is going to be our exit keyword. If line dot equals exit, so if we type out exit, let's say that that's when we want to actually break out of the program. So I'm going to say break here, and this is going to break out of the while loop. But if the line is anything else and if it's not exit, then we want to actually write it to the file. We want to write that line to the file. So let's actually do FileWriter dot, and let's say print line. That's going to print a line to the file, and I'm going to say line. And then when this while loop finishes, so when we write exit is going to finish, then we just have to flush the actual output stream or the print writer in order to write out to the file. So we're going to say FileWriter dot flush. We have to do this in order to write out to the file. So now this is a very basic program here in order to that can be used to write to a file. We're opening a file, we're storing it in a print writer, so we're getting its output stream and storing it we're putting it in a stream writer in a print writer, and we're going to be using it like that. Then we're getting the standard input through an input stream reader, through a buffer reader, so we can easily read the standard input. And then we have an infinite while loop that only exits when we enter the exit command. Let's say it's a command, so we're going to use it as a command. So when we enter exit, that's when we break out. In each turn of the while, we're going to read the input, and if it's anything else than exit, we are going to write it to the file. So anything that we write is going to get written to the file. So this is our file here. It's empty right now. I'm going to close it right now, and I'm going to run the program. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to say run, and we're going to wait for it to actually start up, and we're going to try to see if it works. And it should work. It should give us it should run in the console. We should be able to write lines, click enter, and each of those lines should be written to the file. And when we write exit, we should exit out of the program. So there we go. We're presented with the prompt and is waiting for us to type. So let's say this is the first line. Let's add another one. This is the second line. This is the third line. And let's click enter. And it still waits for us to type. Let's add a space. Let's add this is test, I don't know, paragraph, for example. Let's add another enter. Let's add another empty space here. Let's add another enter here. And now let's try to exit out of this while loop by typing out exit and clicking enter. And as you can see, the process finished, so the program actually finished. And now let's go ahead and check out the file and see if all of the things are written down. So this is our file, and as you can see, everything is here. We have successfully written to the file using Java.io, using the Java.io library. As you can see, these are our 3 lines. This is our empty line here, and this is our test paragraph, and this is our another empty line right here. So it worked, and it actually works like this. So this is how you do it, and this is how you write to a file using the Java.io library. So this is going to be it for this video. I hope you learned something new. Thanks for watching, and see you until the next one.